Carrie's cleric and I started a kind of in-game relationship, but because of my character's general outlook and her character having taken a celibacy vow, the closest to intimate that they ever got was stargazing while holding hands. Doug pitched a fit about this, insisting that it broke Carrie's vow somehow.
Wait, what? The fuck?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Okay, so just to be clear here, guys, if you watched the last episode here, you kind of know what's already going on with Doug. So their whole being romantic, and it honestly is fucking just wholesome. They're just holding hands, watching the stars, and of course Doug, who wants Carrie
God forbid
apparently.
there's a good moment for Doug. Well, everybody, I
The
just want to say
fuck?
welcome back. And if you guys haven't seen the first part of Doug, please go check that out because we're going to roll right into the story here. And if that
Jesus
intro didn't
Christ.
catch you, I don't know what else will. But,
Oh my
Antonio, I
god.
hope you're ready for the
I'm
story of
not.
Doug
I'm not.
2. The
Like, what the fuck?
redugging quote is what
The
this one is.
redug ending. Oh my god.
And,
All right, let's
yeah.
do this. Oh my lord. I was not expecting that, guys. That was not rehearsed. I did not know he was gonna do that. Oh shit. Damn, Joe. Okay,
Yeah.
hey, I'm
Yeah.
wow, if that's what we have to look forward to, this is gonna be one hell of an episode. Okay, Joe, please, sir, take it away.
If you haven't read Doug Part 1, you might want to before this one, as I'm not
Maybe,
reintroducing
maybe.
everyone in this parting in depth. This chapter is a little less awful before Doug gets much, much worse. So, in the next session, after Doug's cleric tried to SA Carrie's character and frame my character for it, Doug showed up a few hours late to a table. We were in the middle of looking for Rick's divine MacGuffin, and it's brought us to this long-forgotten dwarven mine. After Doug's sudden angry exit from the last session and his absence from the beginning of this one, Kit explained that in-game, Doug's character has just run off rather than answer for his own attempted crime, which the attempted crime is
Yeah,
horrific.
it's not good,
Uh,
Joe. It's not good.
And for him to show up a few hours later is kind of interesting
Yeah.
too. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you did bad, you smack your puppy on the nose, and you move forward.
Yeah.
But
This is what.
it's really crazy to me that like immediately he's like showing up late, and then like all of a sudden he left last session because if you remember everybody, Doug left very very suddenly before the session ended. So there was some of that time, and then he was absent for this one. Let me just say this, Antonio, the balls on the guy to come back.
Fucking bro has balls of tungsten, dude. Like holy shit. If I was Doug in this situation, if I wasn't, I would have done this in the first place. But
I
let's just
wouldn't
say,
have done this in the first place, but
let's just say I
we're
had
all
a
really good
moment.
at that.
Let's just say I have a moment of insanity and I decide to do all this. Like, yeah, no, at that point, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm sorry, no. I'm just like, nope, yeah, I never met these people before, never knew them, yep, they never knew me, and that would have been it. Like, the fact that he comes back and then comes back late. Like,
Yeah.
bro, you're only bringing more fucking attention to yourself by doing
I
that.
was just gonna say, you walk into the house, you're like, dude, we're kind of finishing up here. It's like,
Yeah, like,
but
dude,
yeah,
what the hell?
I thought it was pretty interesting, just like
Hmm,
right off the bat. But
yeah.
back to the story, when Doug returns and is unsatisfied with the explanation that Kit gives, yeah,
What?
yeah,
What do
he's
you
very upset that Kit said that he just ran off. He instead
Okay.
said that he was, quote, off completing a mission for his goddess, of course. And out of character, Doug attempts to explain his attempted assault on Carrie's character, saying something about how in a religious themed epic adventure like ours, such an incident would fit right in. He cited Greek and Roman mythology as justification for all of this. And I'm
What
really
the
shortening
fuck?
his rantings here, but essentially, if Zeus and Jupiter could disguise themselves to take advantage of women, so can my character.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, oh,
So we're hitting hard
what?
already within the second thing. Let me just say, I don't think a good justification is Greek and Roman mythology.
No! Like, just
As
no!
much as I love it,
I like
Zeus
it
does
too.
a lot of stuff to random animals and people.
Yeah, maybe you should go do that shit too, Doug. Maybe go find a horse or something. I don't fucking know, bro. Like, just because you read this in a book somewhere does not mean it's okay for you to go and do this
Actually, it
yourself.
is. Actually, it is, Antonio. It's totally okay for him to do that because
Ah,
there's a
yeah, no,
justification.
no,
His
that
justification is that if other people have done it, I
did
it
not.
must not be
Oh
that
my
bad.
god.
Must not be that bad, right?
Yeah, no, totally. You want to chill? I could go technically commit murder because I've seen other people in books
Yeah.
commit murder, so it's
Well, duh.
totally cool if I do that.
Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dahmer did it. Why can't I do
Yeah.
it? I don't understand. I don't see the
God.
problem here.
Oh my lord! I
Yeah.
cannot believe the I Joe. I don't even know if it's balls on this dude. I don't know. This dude has something psychological going on. He has to. There's no
I
fucking way
was
he's
just
saying all this
saying
unironically.
he's definitely got ape brain
No
going on
fucking
there.
shit, dude. My lord, I can't with
Yeah.
this dude. I just can't.
How do
Like,
you again, like I said, like the explanation of like it's a religious themed epic adventure, of course it would work like this. Like it's not like that,
oh
and
my god.
ew. But
Yeah, yeah.
side note, I
Oh
admit
no.
we should have been through his BS already and kicked him from the
Yes,
group.
you should have.
But we were more or less left it up to Carrie, who I think felt the most uncomfortable in making the call herself.
No. Okay, okay.
Don't do that.
No,
I
no,
mean, this
no.
is just like a
Mm.
straight up thing for me. Is like, don't let one person decide. Like, if you
It's
all
not
are
fair.
uncomfortable and all are like, this is just weird, then like all make the call because everybody's uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Even in the first part, we're all told that they're uncomfortable. Like,
Exactly.
it would not make it good to be like, oh, hey, Carrie, I know you're the one dealing with everything. You should make the decision. I was like,
Well, it
and
puts
in my head, I
all.
was like, that's the reason we have HR people.
Yeah, right. It's putting all this pressure on Carrie now, where it's just not fair to Carrie. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like, just know you guys, like you said, they're all uncomfortable with it. So you have pretty much, like, whether you recognize it or not, you've all pretty much made the decision already. You don't want this dude at the table. So at that point, I think it's more than okay for all of you just to stand up together and just say, like, Doug, nah, we don't want you back.
It
Sorry,
should have.
not
I
sorry.
mean, personally, I think if anybody's to have the weight of the situation, it
GM,
should be Kit, which is the
yeah,
one. It's his sister-in-law,
fucking hey,
so
bro.
I
The
would definitely be like, bro, get the fuck
the
out of here.
like,
First of
the
all,
fact he's doing this in front of his sister-in-law, in front
yeah,
of a fucking cop, in
in
front
front
of
of
a
a cop.
cop,
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah.
Like,
Again, it's
what the
interesting.
fuck?
So
Oh
Doug
god.
stayed in, and in the aftermath of all this, Rick and I recognized this as the moment where we messed up, and we later apologized to Carrie for putting that
Okay, okay.
on her
At least they
plate.
apologize. That's good.
So yeah, they recognize their mistake,
Good.
but also
Yeah.
big slap on the hand. Naughty, do not do that.
Yeah. No. Again,
Um,
guys. If you
if you don't
see,
like somebody like that much, just fucking kick them.
yeah, just kick him and then don't leave the decision to a player. Like Joe said, at the very least, if it's gonna fall to one person, it should be the DM or slash GM, whatever you want to call them. Should fall to that person, that's it. Or you just make the decision as an entire table to kick the person. It should be one way or the other, not just leaving it to a single player and putting all the pressure on them. That's not fair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Mm.
to continue on to our wonderful story of Doug, honestly, thinking back on all this has made me feel shittier than I thought it would. So I'm just going to speed run the rest of Doug's antics. But before I do, I just want to say that the shame of all of this is that had it not been for Doug, this campaign would have been absolutely perfect. Kit did such an amazing job building the setting and weaving characters into it. It also bears mentioning that we had a lot of fun despite having Doug there, but in the end, we should have just gotten rid of him earlier.
Yeah.
So here's a bullet point list.
Oh no.
And we're gonna go through number one. In
Okay.
character, Doug spent the next few sessions referring to Carrie's character as the female. She asked him several times not to, but he insisted, as if he didn't have a care in the world. Which
Yeah.
we already saw him do that in the 1st one,
Mhm.
so I'm not surprised that he continued it.
But like, why is no one just like calling him out
That's
on
the thing.
this?
Well, okay, like my biggest thing is like I don't mean to be that guy, but like, bro,
Mm.
if I was a police officer and I knew that this kind of weird behavior is going on, I feel like I personally would have probably gotten up and been like, "Hey, dude, like this isn't cool, man. You can't fucking do that shit to people. You know, like even if it's a game, like
Mhm.
nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to live your fantasy like that, dude. That's
Nah, dude. Like
gross."
we've said it so many times on this fucking podcast here, where like, yeah, dude, do not sit there and include people who are unwilling, by the way, in your fucking fantasies. Don't fucking do it. Like you
That's
said, Joe,
what
there's
I'm saying.
places to do that. There's tables where you could probably do that. This ain't fucking one of them.
Just read the room. That's
Exactly.
the advice for that one. Read the room.
Exactly. Read the fucking room. Jesus Christ. Okay,
Second
Joe.
one, you've already heard, Antonio. Carrie's cleric and I started a kind of in-game relationship, but because of my character's general outlook and her character having taken a celibacy vow, the closest to intimate that we ever got was stargazing, holding hands, and Doug pitched a fit about this, insisting that it broke me and Carrie's vow.
Okay, Doug, you know what, Joe? If I'm at that table, I'd call him out on this bullshit right then and there. I was like, Doug, so it's clear that
Doug, you should know what celibacy is, my friend.
it's like, Doug, you are clearly the expert on celibacy here. I don't mean to question you, but you have to explain to me how holding hands and stargazing is somehow equivalent of having sex.
Well,
Please,
Antonio,
sir,
don't you know
continue.
that's how you get girls pregnant?
This is like some kindergartner, like, oh no, guys, you can't kiss, you'll get each other pregnant. That way. Well, no, not even kiss, you can't even hold hands.
Yeah, again, like I said, the pot is spilling over, and
Oh
Doug
my
is
God.
giving us not enough room for it. So the third point is Doug tried to ruin our character's relationship by once again taking on
No.
my form.
No.
Which, in quotations, he
No.
was smart enough to steal my clothing this time.
Okay, at least he did. Okay.
But
Okay.
Carrie outmaneuvered him by referencing stuff our characters had talked about in complete privacy,
Oh,
provoking another loud and obnoxious accusation of metagaming from Doug.
what the? She outwitted you once already, dude.
Dude,
Why are you
my thing
trying
is
this
like,
again?
it's like, now, I know that I've already been caught, so the second time can't be worse, right?
No, like, I'm sorry. Like, okay. Let's think about this from a realistic standpoint of, like, if you're traveling in a party and someone did this twice, you would think at that point the jig is fucking up and this dude is fucking gone. And I'm assuming since this Mo Bullet Points show, he's not even fucking gone after this
No.
fucking time he tries to do it.
Well,
Am
that's
I
the
correct?
thing that I don't understand. Like, kid, first
Like,
time
dude.
had to blow you out of the water. Like, oh man, I did not expect that. Second time,
Like,
come on, man.
Come on.
Come on.
Kid,
Like, for me, I'm like, I respect you, but my God, woman,
yeah,
just
and again, to be fair
why?
I can't. I'm not being fair to Kit here because Kit, yeah, no offense.
You
At this
fucked up
point,
there. That's a you
yeah,
thing, man. Come on,
yeah.
like,
I
let's.
understand he's a stepbrother.
He's a creep.
Yeah,
He is.
fucking stating the obvious here, Joe. But yes, he is a creep. But he's related to him somehow. So I get it. You're related to him. Kicking him from the table is probably gonna lead to
It's
some type
gonna
of.
be easier than harder. What do you mean? I'd much rather be like, hey,
Well,
husband,
maybe
wife,
just hear me
whoever.
out. Hear me
Fuck
out.
your brother. Get him the fuck away from me. He's weird.
Like, no, I'm like,
And
yeah,
if anybody ever gave me lip for it, especially if they're like, well, why would you do that to my son? I'd be like, well, he just tried to rape somebody in game
twice,
and
fucking twice,
I don't mean
bro,
to be that
triple
guy.
down.
I don't mean to be that
Oh
guy,
my
but I don't
God.
think that is normal person behavior.
No, it's
And
not
I
in the
think
slightest.
now, Antonio, call me crazy. I think they're warranted to say, I don't want to play with you.
yes, no, it's
But
completely fucking warranted
you know
at
what,
this
Antonio?
point.
I might even be even crazier to be warranted to say, I don't want to see him.
Yeah, no, I if I was related to him, I'd be like, hey, yo, Doug, we good, homie. You just stay away from me. You do you, I do me. Nah, I don't want to be talking or seeing you anymore.
Antonio, I would have caught a case. I would have thrown hands with this man. The
would
second
not
time,
blame
I
you.
would have
I
just
would not
thrown
blame you,
something at him and
honestly.
just been like, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my house. Like, do not come back ever. And be like,
I can't even say you're wrong here, Jeff. And my God, you know, when you said at the end of last episode that he only gets worse, I was like, there's no way. He might pull up and be equal level. He might be like a little under the level he was before. No. He completely blew my expectations out of the water. He's fucking worse this time around. I cannot believe it. I truly cannot.
well,
wow.
Antonio,
Just wow.
I gotta tell you, you know what blew me out of the water?
What?
This transition into the ad break.
Oh,
I will see you
shit.
guys back here in a minute. But until then, here's the ad. Bad DMs and players sucking out all of your energy? Why not re-energize yourself with a Dubby energy drink? with its non-jitter coffee fruit extract. It's there to revitalize you whenever you need it. I'm gonna straight up say I love the mystery flavor. It's one of my personal favorites. I order it every single time, and honestly, way too often. So, if a delicious drink to hype up your day is what you're kind of looking for, then please go check out Dubby.gg, which is going to be Dubby.gg, and use our code Patchwork Games, all one word. That's PATCHWERK Games for a 10% discount. And I promise you that W Energy is done me right, and I love it every single time. Welcome back from the ad, everybody. If you watched it, thank you so much. If you didn't,
Shame on you. How could you?
you've disappointed me greatly. Other than that, thank you to our sponsor Dubby, and thank you to Antonio for sponsoring us again
Of
for the
course.
1000th episode.
You know, Joe, I can't help it. I just really like the podcast. It
I
just
love it.
sings to
I
my
love it.
soul.
It does. It does. And let's get right back into number 5.
Yeah.
Because he was in a trickery domain cleric, Doug took to constantly trying to steal stuff from me, Carrie, and Rick's characters. Because I'm a trickery domain cleric. It's my character. That's what my character would do.
No, Joe, I'm with you here. I'd be catching a case myself because I just straight punch this dude in the face at this
I
point.
just say, like,
he's
Antonio,
being too much. He's
you
being
see
too
me
fucking
throw
much.
something, and he's like, oh, what? And then you come in with the haymaker, and then, like, he's like, oh, and as soon as he's against the wall, I drop the fucking dual kicker on him.
Yeah.
Like-
he deserves at this point. Normally at the DED podcast, we do not advocate for violence, but sometimes bro just needs to catch hands. He just needs to catch him sometimes. I'm sorry, bro, like some dudes just like they're not gonna learn
Antonio,
from you merely
let me put it
saying
this
something.
way. I'd rather shit in my hand and clap than play with a character like Doug.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Not
dude,
exactly
like,
a thing that I was thinking of.
Oh,
But number 6, Doug intentionally gave away my position during a stealth mission in attempt to get me killed so he could get with Carrie.
the level of delusion on this fucking dude.
What is this obsession with this woman?
Joe. We know the obsession is, sir. He said it in the first episode. He's a self-proclaimed super nerd. This dude probably has not touched a fucking woman, let alone probably been in a conversation lasting more than 5 seconds with her. I'm sorry for being that guy.
Actually, I played against a woman in Warhammer 40k like 2 years ago, so I ended up touching her dice, meaning that we actually held hands at some point, so just one of those coincidences.
Oh my god. Oh, I can't. I go, time out, Joe. Shit, you got me there. Damn, I couldn't stop.
I'm just saying it makes sense, don't it? It makes sense now. But of course, Antonio,
Fuck.
it just wouldn't be a Doug playlist without number 7.
Yeah,
He took to cursing at Kit, his sister-in-law, whenever he would fail, whenever she would say no, whenever she would deny him doing something stupid, or whenever he would outright try to kill people.
Well, Kit, why the fuck is he not gone from the table at this
I'm
point?
just saying, if somebody's like, okay, I'm like, no, you can't do that. Okay, but fuck you, Joey. And I'm like,
Is that like, dude? Like, yeah, like the
Okay.
first time he does it, it's like, dude, do it again, you're out of here. Well, no. In fact, no. Because like, I'm thinking about this a little bit more clearly after my little panic attack there. Like, it's because he's acted out so much already. At this point, the goodwill is gone. If he starts doing that shit, his ass is gone from the table. Like, I'm sorry. Like, why is he still here? Like, Joe, I pray to God we get some context at the end, at least from Kit's side. Hopefully, we get something that just explains why she let him stay so long. Because this is like kind of inexcusable at this point if his behavior is getting this fucking bad.
This is where I think at part 2,
Mhm.
as we're going in for the grand finale, numero 8, I think in terms of this story, as much as I hate to say it, that Doug is dastardly.
Oh, Doug is
But
100% dastardly.
to keep this behavior going on,
Mm,
might I say, is almost just as dastardly.
you're not wrong. I mean, at least two of the other players even own up to it. Like, yeah, we fucked up here. We should have been stepping up and saying something. Kit also fucked up. It is pretty dastardly. I do agree to let this go on for as long as it did. I completely agree.
I believe
This is on the
that's my
DM as well.
thoughts.
Yeah.
And so for the grand finale, numero ocho, around session 5, which by the way, that's insane. Only 5 sessions in, and this is what has happened over the course of
Jesus.
this time.
Mm.
That's nuts. We were talking about bringing in a 5th person into the campaign,
Oh no.
and Doug decided to prod Carrie on about asking her single friend to join us.
Oh no.
And when Carrie's response was a diplomatic but pretty clear, absolutely fucking not,
I can't imagine
he
why she'd say
decided
that.
to turn to me and Rick and ask if I had any females. And he specifically asked the OP if he had any female students I can bring in.
What the
And
wait, wait, wait.
He asked if he had any female coworkers to bring in. Now, for those that don't remember, I was a high school teacher.
Wait. So this okay. So guys, if you didn't watch the last episode, towards the end we kind of talked about this a little bit, but it's never mentioned in part one
Let me
if
just
like Carrie's
say,
a fucking high
Joey's
schooler.
foreshadowing is the best
What
around.
the fuck?
I mentioned this to Doug, obviously, hoping that maybe he thought I taught at a community college. He didn't and did not change his expression.
What?
I don't remember how exactly he worded it, but it was some comment about an anime that was so disgusting that Carrie just got up and left all her stuff at the table and just left the room and the house. Rick, the cop, had a loud exchange with Doug
Thank
that almost
God.
became violent, and Kit had to step out of the room because she was mortified by not only the comment, but the exchange, and was about to cry. Just as I had managed to convince Rick to leave with me before things got ugly, Doug made a comment about taking Carrie's stuff to her. And I say this in all seriousness, I'm glad Rick, yes, Rick the officer, was unarmed that day.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, Rick. Thank God he probably wasn't armed. He probably would have caught some charges.
But
Wow.
let me read off this last part
Okay.
as a final sign off. The campaign obviously ended there, and apart from a couple one shots, I haven't played since.
Oh,
I've carried a ton of guilt for not speaking up and for tolerating Doug's behavior as long as I did, even when I knew it was wrong. And I don't think Rick played again either. And unfortunately, Rick passed away last spring, and I hate that we never got to play together again.
shit.
And on the bright spot, though, if there is one, Carrie and Kit started a women's only D&D, Pathfinder, and Vampire the Masquerade group that they do love. So do with that what you will.
Well, at least okay. First off, to OP, look, like Joe and I even said, like, should you have stepped up and said something? Yes, you should have. Would I be carrying the guilt of it for as long
No,
as you have?
I would not.
I wouldn't
And
personally.
I would
Like, granted,
also
you fucked up.
say
Granted,
many respects. Thank you, Rick, for everything you've done.
fucking a,
And
fucking a, dude.
I wish you a good afterlife, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Because I too would have beaten the shit out of Doug if I had the
I
chance.
think anyone. Oh my god, if anyone had the gumption too, they did. So, I don't even think it'd take that much effort. By the way, I don't. My guess is Doug isn't very athletically like inclined, or probably and has probably never had like taken any type of defensive training. It wouldn't take much effort. Guys, again, I know we don't advocate for violence here, but my god, this dude really like he's asking for it. This woman is a high school teacher, and he asked her to fucking bring her, like, if he knew any of her students that would like to play. And you saw his behavior with Carrie.
He did not waver on facial expression. Imagine you're like, hey, do you have any people that you might want to bring along that are students? And then you're like,
Oh my god, dude.
if you forgot, man, I work at the high school. It's like, that's not the question.
Like, that's such a
Oh,
did.
but
That's essentially what he fucking did.
Antonio, I do have one last thing that might
Oh
be a
no.
last hurrah for us here at DED and for
Oh,
our wonderful, beautiful viewers out there. And it's
go
from
on.
it's from a comment. Doug sounds like an incel weirdo. He should have gotten the
Yes.
boot after all the crap he pulled on Carrie, and then should have been dragged outside by the boots and tied and hogtied to a couple horses running him through the street. And then
Fucking
they
yes.
say, "Is Kit still in contact with him?" Since he's her brother-in-law, what does Kit's spouse and Doug's sibling think about this? And the OP says, as far as I know, Doug is still very much a part of Kit's life, but I think he's one of those only at family functions type of relationships.
Yeah, yeah.
But he also says, I haven't asked how everyone feels about him, but I think he's become more and more outcast in recent years. He was fired from his job, but nobody knows why.
Um.
Which
uh,
I can see why maybe he was. I mean, he worked at a game store with women in Warhammer and
oh
touched their dice and
no.
probably told them about touching hands.
He's talking about knocking them up by touching their hands, most
He was
likely.
like, he's just like sitting there. He's like, well, hey, we're practically married now that we've
Oh
touched each other Warhammer
no.
orcs. You're like,
Oh no.
of course. Of course.
Oh
But
my god.
that is the end of Story of Doug. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it the most, Antonio.
I'm gonna need some
Uh,
wine after this. I'm not gonna lie to you, Joe. I'm
I
gonna need
don't
some
think
wine
wine is
after
gonna be it.
this.
Ever clear
And
for me, baby.
I'm gonna do like 2 bottles of wine and a nice hot shower after this, because my god, do I feel dirty right now just hearing that story.
But I just gotta say, Antonio, remember DMs.
Stay dastardly and don't be Doug. Just don't be Doug. Please, for the love of God, don't be Doug.
He will be remembered, not in our hearts, and definitely forever scarred on my soul.
No.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.